So, hello, everybody. Bonjour, monsieur. Bonjour, monsieur. Bonjour, monsieur. Anyway, now I should start to speak French. Instant French. Joke. So here, it seems there are many old faces. And, I'm sure no faces. Say. I'm sure no one is new. I'm sure nobody is new. If you think back past lives. Of course, when you take different body, there's new faces. So, I'm very happy to meet all of you. And as Lama Yeshe often says, the benefits are the benefits not being dead. But the benefits not being dead is to meet again. The benefits to meet again. The benefits not being dead is, meet each other again. Lama often used to say that when when Lama meets his friends, other Lamas like that. So he often used to say that. So I think like that. So. Donnie, who has been Donnie, where's the word Donnie? Oh, Donnie is there. Donnie, who has been, I think, of course, there's a resident teacher for, resident teacher of Pacific Center, which is whose kindness been immeasurable, being a resident teacher here Vajrayana Center for how many years? 20. 20. So I believe what Donnie says. He's 20 years. So anyway, but no matter how difficult it is, there has been hardships, but for say, for all those years who practice patience, tolerance, and continue to teach Dharma to benefit to a sentient being, making this meditation center Vajrayana beneficial, to a sentient being continuously. For so many years, so of course, and so of course, one great supporter for that is Donnie. Donnie or Donnie. Donnie means in Tibetan, time without beginning. Time without beginning. Donnie. No, that's domane. Domane is Italian language also. I get mixed up with the different languages. Anyway, Donnie, whom I think more ascetic, who is more ascetic, say, totally devoting, renounced, say, being, so, totally renounced, say, practitioner, disciple, yet able to achieve many things, service to center, many other activities, for receiving listeners and also able to offer service to those for FPMT Center, the organization. I think that he is more ascetic, renounced, but I think than some, in the East, who live in the mountains, some of the people, who has title of renounced being. Is what I think. Some, I don't mean all, but just some. That even while he was director in his room, I haven't been in his room actually. I haven't been in his room. But what I heard is there's nothing. There was a few dresses hanging. And just that. That's it. Very easy to go to Pure Land. Very easy to go to Pure Land. Anyway, so anyway, I was saying very easy to go to Pure Land, but he had nothing to cling on. He had nothing to cling on, so it's very easy for his departure to Shambhala, to Pure Land, Buddha. Anyway, so Dhoni wrote maybe at least 3 times. I'm not sure, right? 2 or 3 times. Time to time he wrote. He succeeded in the FPMT board meetings, so SPMT or FPMT, sorry, CPMT or board meeting. That to hold courses, meditation courses like Kapan, in each year, different parts of Europe. So I guess who cannot go to Kapan, so it makes it easy for them to, come nearby, place. I guess easier. So he succeeded quite a few times, and sent me a letter in a few times, requesting that. I think the people also want to keep teaching. He's expressing his wishes to give teaching, but also give teaching to us. Anyway. So, not so long ago, then I thought maybe. So there was a plan 3 years ago, to do this course, right? 2 years ago. After His Holiness gave the initiation of the 4 Kadampa deities, and the teachings on Bodhicitta Avatar here on this land. So, yeah. And so therefore, where we're doing retreat is also already blessed by His Holiness Buddha compassion. It was very. Kishitendra was saying this is exactly same as he says it's equals Buddha Gaya. He says this play is equals to Buddha Gaya. Where 1,000 Buddha show enlightenment. So you see. So that's the Kishitendra says a recommendation. So, not so long ago, so I thought maybe a good idea to do the retreat of the 4 Kadampa deities course, retreat on that, combined with the Lamrim. The stages path to enlightenment. Combined with that, and that is the very essence. Meditation on the Lamrim is the very essence. What what makes them alive? What makes the life most beneficial? Even concerning benefiting others, we need to develop our mind. if our mind is down, if our mind is negative, we cannot benefit others, only harm to others. If our attitude of life become a self-centered mind, then we can't benefit others, and then so only harm to others and harm to oneself. So that's the situation with the the attitude of life. If it is centered, self-centered mind, it's a harmful thought for both others and oneself. Doesn't bring any peace, even to yourself, the one person, even yourself. So, and then no question, other negative emotion thoughts, no question. No need to say how they are harmful. So anyway, so life without Lamrim is only problems. Life without Lamrim is only life. Problem. A suffering life. You see, only creating problems. Producing. Continuously creating problems and living life, continuously experiencing problems. And, for that, that's all what it is. So there is no real happiness, inner peace without the Lamrim. Without practicing. Without practicing, even there is no actual realization. But you see, without practicing, there's no question if there's realization. But you see, one not practicing. You see, the Lamrim train the mind in that, in the stages of the path to enlightenment. And that is even concerning to benefit others. That's the way to do by training the mind in Lamrim, developing one's mind in that. You see, and then even concerning achieving happiness. That's the real way of achieving happiness. Yes. So that that's the essential thing in the life. More important than the money. The Lamrim practice is more important than money, more important than food and clothing, those daily needs. Without the Lamrim, even you have billions of dollars, it's only suffering life. More confusion, more suffering. Life become more dangerous. More the money you have, more dangerous, more fear, worry, like that. More dissatisfaction. You see, more, like that. More unhappiness. Instead, increasing your inner peace, happiness, satisfaction, you see, opposite. So like that, even the external prosperities, finding good jobs, well-paid jobs, whatever, all has come from good karma by collecting merit. Otherwise, there's no other way. Without from that individual person's side, having collected good karma, you see positive thought and positive action, virtuous thought and virtuous action, and that either by collecting merit by making offering to the holy objects, or by making charity, by benefiting others, so forth. By having collected merit, then as a preliminary, then from that comes able to find good job. You see, able as one wishes, and all these the enjoyments, all the external prosperity, money, so forth, so they come. You see, from that. So therefore, you see, without Dharma, you can't have any happiness. Impossible. Like without the seed, you see, without plant the seed, you can't have the fruit. That you see, flower, or you see the plants or the crops, you can't have without plant the seed. So like that, see, all the happiness has to come from your own mind. Do not come from outside. Of course, there are external conditions, but that doesn't mean the external conditions for the pleasure. But that doesn't mean that's the main cause. Main cause is your own, you see, virtuous thought and virtuous actions. So, however, and that is Dharma. The cause is only Dharma. What is worldly pleasure? What is a worldly pleasure? What is what is mundane pleasure? What is supermundane? Mundane super? Anyway, what is mundane pleasure or mundane pleasure or happiness beyond from samsara, which is beyond from samsara, or the ultimate happiness, liberation from samsara, full enlightenment, or any of this happiness has come from Dharma. So, therefore, Therefore, if you understand karma, you see, Dharma becomes the first thing in the life. If you understand karma, you see from where the suffering comes, from where happiness comes. If you reflect, even we intellectually, we accept things came from karma. You see, when we talk about, but you see, if we have definite understanding of karma or definite understanding that all this, there is no other way except, the other. As all the suffering comes from our mind, all the happiness has come from our mind. There is also mind which is Dharma. Also mind which is Dharma. So in that case, Dharma becomes the first thing in the life, the very first thing in the life. The needs in your life is the first thing. Dharma is the first thing. You see, that's the most important thing. So from there, then you get everything. From Dharma, you get everything. If you want a friend, you find a friend from Dharma. If you say anything, you see, whatever enjoyment you need highest, including enlightenment. So you see, come from your mind, come from Dharma, which is your own mind, came from the path, which is your own mind. So, I'm not going to go blah, blah, blah. That I say. India, say, recently in America, before coming here, I was in Florida. I went there quite a number, maybe 7 years ago, something like that. Florida. Lamas, student who did secretary to Lama for, I think maybe, I'm not sure, maybe 5 years or quite a long time. J.K. Kelly, who was extremely devoted to Lama, who actually feel in the heart that Lama is Buddha. While she was doing service, doing secretary work, and during the traveling, during the service, maintaining secretary, and even Lamas, because of her devotion, even the Lamas, tissue paper that used tissue papers, so she feel very unbearable. For her mind is so precious, she is unable to throw in the normal garbage can. Normal garbage can. But for her, it's very, without understanding, without devotion, very precious, you see. In the used tissue papers. So anyway, still same attitude. That type of devotion, I say, courage or strength, is still there, not degenerated. Anyway, what I was going to say is this: she started a center there in Florida. And how that center happened, you might find it interesting. That so she just came from India and Nepal with nothing. Just came from there with nothing, no money, nothing. So I didn't have a job. You see, nothing. And she was staying at her sister's place. The next neighbor had everything: car, house, family, had everything. Next neighbor, the lady had everything, but she, so total opposite. She had nothing. But then next lady, no happiness, so unhappy, so miserable, so much, so unhappy. Had everything, but she had nothing. So, so she wasn't sure how her future, wasn't sure how her future was going to turn out. You see, she can't tell, not sure how it's going to turn out. So anyway, like that. And she was pregnant at the same time. I think came from India, being pregnant. And she had nothing. So I think she has been praying to Lama very strongly, the baby to be born on the Christmas day. She's been praying so much, the baby to get born on Christmas day. So praying so much. So I think if Well, Christmas Eve is first, right? Next is Christmas. What is it, right? Something like that. So what happened on Christmas Eve? In Christmas Eve, at our sister place, they're having dinner at night time. They're having evening dinner, evening or night. Anyway, dinner. So while she was sitting, with other people, then I think there's water in the stomach, broke. Babies live in the water, right? In the pond. Anyway, I broke. So she excused in dinner and she went. She didn't tell. Then she called the doctor and the doctor said, must come to hospital. So she went to hospital. And anyway, so the next day, on the Christmas day, the baby was born. So it happened exactly as she had been praying, wishing. So then the other lady must have seen that Jackie had nothing, but other lady must have seen there's some confidence in her. There must be some strength, because I think because she had met Dharma and the devotion, that richness, in your mind, your heart, the wealth, the spiritual wealth, understand Dharma and especially the devotion, not just the intellectual understanding Dharma, but the devotion. Of course, that gives confidence, and that gives courage, and that gives confidence in your life. You see, it doesn't that as a protector doesn't make the life totally to go down. You see, whereas if you don't have that spiritual wealth, that devotion, understanding, then there's nothing in the heart. Then you have all these problems in the life. Of course, how that would be? There's nothing in your heart. You see, so how that would be? Life would be very miserable. You see, double miserable. You see, double miserable, much more unhappy. So that so more you have spiritual wealth, the wisdom, the compassion, the devotion, more you have that. More you have that. You see, even there, no money, you see, the difficulties, but you are the strength in the mind, your good heart, compassion, or the wisdom, even understanding, see, the Dharma, Buddhism, the Buddhist teachings. You see, even the problems big for general people, but for that person, you see, it doesn't bother much. There is a problem, but it doesn't bother much. Becomes small because you see, Dharma. Those qualities, those precious qualities, the human mind that you have, you see, able to overcome those, is able to reduce, and able to overcome those. So it doesn't become that much bothering to you. So that, anyway, or it doesn't bother at all, or you see, or weaker. So that. So that means you have more happiness. So that means you have more peace and happiness in the life. Then also that means you're able to communicate others and able to help others. You see that much positive thought that you have. So anyway, so I think that lady, the next lady, who had everything externally, I think must sing something in her, in Jack's mind. There's some confidence, some confidence. See, there's something there. You see, while she had nothing. So, anyway, so one day that lady suddenly asked her to teach meditation. The next lady, the who had everything, asked Jackie to teach meditation somewhere, someplace. So then she she has never taught meditation before. That's not her job. That has not been her job or say before. So she felt since I was asked to teach meditation, then I must do. So then she went to teach meditation that place where the lady asked. And then people got very interested. That's how the center happened. That's the root. That's the root of the floor. That's the root of the Florid center. And they florid in America. There's one florid in Italy, right? There's one florid in Italy. In India and in Italy. No? Anyway, florid in America. So that's how the center started. And then after I came, she's been teaching for a long time. I think even now teaches in the college or something. She used to teach meditation or talk. Actual Dharma, but sort of like say meditation. Sort of like meditation to the house ladies, the housewives, ladies, those elderly people. She's been doing that for a long time, and so after that, after I did a course there, and then somebody became director of the center. Now there's a resident teacher. Geshe Losang Gyab. He's been there, I think, sure, maybe almost 3 years. 3 years. But when I was there, there was obstacle. He returned back to the United States after receiving teachings from South India, maybe Buddha, South India. But there was some problem in the visa, in his passport. I don't know. Something so they didn't allow from the airport. I don't know. There's some problem in the. So they sent him back to Delhi from the airport. So still waiting to get a visa. So when I went there, I met him in the United States, and he requested, say, very extremely keen, say, he asked me to come, but when I was there, he was not there. Anyway. But I think it, even though he didn't have particular title, being learned or this and that, but then it benefited so much to the people that the students benefited very deep in their hearts. Everyone, they had great appreciation, respect, faith to his relationship. So they arranged talk in the university how to achieve happiness. How to achieve happiness in the Florida to Miami University. Before that, to arrange with some students to have discussion. Four students came, but they didn't even. I don't know what happened. They didn't seem to have questions. So I told a little bit of my story. I told them a little bit of not how I was born, but a little bit of story. Solo kumbu, a little bit of childhood stories, and just. So my emphasis that to the students there in the university, people who came there, the happiness starts when you actually know what is the meaning of life. When you actually know what's the meaning of life, then you see, and you are living that. You see, that positive attitude which makes your life meaningful. You are living that. And then, you see, then there's happiness. You see, happiness starts from there. Peace and happiness. So, telling that how this human body is so unbelievably precious. That you can achieve any happiness you wish for yourself. You see, any temporary happiness. You see, all the coming happiness of all the coming future lives. Happiness of all the coming your future lives. you can achieve that. And ultimate happiness, see, the total cessation of this whole entire suffering, the cause, the delusion, karma, achieve that. Then full enlightenment, the peerless happiness, anything, any happiness you wish you can achieve. This human body gives you opportunity, and same, you can cause. So you can cause any of those happiness, those levels of happiness to other sentient beings. Happiness this life, you can cause to other sentient beings. Happiness future lives, all the coming future lives, happiness you can cause other sentient beings. And ultimate happiness, liberation from the total liberation from whole entire suffering causes, and peerless happiness, full enlightenment, you can cause to sentient beings. So there's limitless skies of benefit you can offer to other sentient beings. So therefore, people who are thinking suicidal, people who are thinking, my life has no meaning. People who are thinking my life has meaning. People who think suicidal, that is it. I don't remember what I said, but anyway, that is a. I don't remember what I said. Anyway, now what I think is it's totally, it's unbelievable, ignorant. Totally, it's a huge mistake. It's incredible, ignorant. So foolish to think suicidal, to kill oneself by oneself. Thinking that I'm hopeless. Then universal responsibility. That as I normally mention, that so if there's compassion, with with one's own heart. Then the compassion doesn't produce harm to others. However, including one's own family, members, those who are around oneself, close to oneself, in everyday life, from and then the people, the neighborhood people in the area, in the country, in this world. So all sentient beings, they don't receive harm from you. By training, by having the compassion as one's own heart, then from life to life, if we think, from life to life, you think like that, then numberless sentient beings, not only not receiving harm from you, they receive benefit from you. So the absence of harm is peace and happiness. They're not receiving harm from you. That's the peace and happiness what they're receiving from you. And then by developing more compassion, they receive additional peace and happiness from your compassion. So otherwise, without the good-hearted compassion with oneself, and then attitude what there would be is only self-cherishing thought, and then due to that, you see anger, jealous mind, all those ill will thoughts, can rise. Then and other with the self-cherishing thought, then other sentient beings there is harm. Then like that, life to life. Then if you think like that, numberless other sentient beings they receive harm from you. You see, like historically happened in this world, one person who has influence, you see, who has power, but didn't have compassion, the good heart. So because of that, one person in the world killed so many millions of people, and tortured, gave so much suffering to this world. That you see. So it happened like this historically, not just one time. You see, many times it happened. So if that person, if that person generated their compassion, then that person, because this person has influence, power. So this person could have brought so much peace and happiness in the world. You see, that person did a good heart compassion. That one person is who had influence power. See, so like that, an example like that. So you see, oneself. So oneself, even though you are just one person, but you see, say, if one do not practice compassion, good heart, didn't have this precious quality of the human mind, the values, then so there's danger, numberless other sentient beings that is harm from you. So this is the most risky, say, most dangerous. This is the most dangerous thing. So therefore, there's urgency. So therefore, there's incredible and great urgency. Without delay, even a second. You see, that was the change. The need to change our mind or one's mind. See, to develop mind and a good heart. So there's urgency. There's emergency or the urgency. Can't wait. Without delay, even a second. Without delay, even a second. Need to transform our mind, generate compassion towards others. So maybe we do. Maybe we do just short time. And meditation on this feeling, see, the universal responsibility. Basis of the reason that I spent. If you generate compassion for others, the numberless other sentiments, there is peace and happiness from you. And that is numberless sentiments, there is peace and happiness from you. So that depends on in your hand. And that depends, how it depends in your hand, that depends on what you do with your mind. That depends on what you do with your mind. Whether you generate compassion to others or not. So totally dependent on that. The numberless sentiments, the receiving peace and happiness. You see, up to enlightenment, all those different levels of happiness that they receive from you, that depends on, that totally depends on, see, oneself, or what one does to one's mind, whether you generate compassion or not. So by developing compassion, then also able to develop the wisdom. You see, from them you collect so much merit with compassion. Fourth, from that also able to develop the wisdom and able to complete the wisdom. When one become enlightened, fully enlightened, then your wisdom is completed. So that your understanding to complete, your wisdom to complete, and that depends also generating compassion to others. You see, that needs so much merit. You see, to be able to complete your understanding, to its omniscient mind. You see, so if you have compassion, bodhicitta, then you collect, so much merit. So from that Dharma wisdom, ultimate wisdom, understand, reality of the phenomena, the emptiness. That ultimate wisdom. So able to generate and able to develop. So in that way, one can seize one's own defilement, and you can liberate with that wisdom. Also able to liberate others from suffering. So we do implementation on the universal responsibility. Okay? How all the sentient beings, all the happiness that which they receive from you up to enlightenment, this life happiness and future life, all the coming future happiness, and the liberation from some enlightenment which they receive from you, how that depends to your mind, whether there's compassion to others or not. Okay? So like this, 24 hours from the time after we woke up from sleep, if we live the daily life with this attitude, the universal, a feeling of the universal responsibility that I have a responsibility for all the sentient beings' happiness. So with this attitude, is to offer service to cause happiness to sentient being, to offer service to sentient being. You get up, you see, in the morning, thinking this is the meaning of my life, to benefit others sentient beings. You see. So with that attitude, one dress up and thinking that I'm the servant, you see, I'm the servant, you see, to obtain happiness to all the sentient beings. So so to take care of that is to take the servant for sentient being. So dressing up in the morning with that attitude, same thing. Then with that attitude we eat food, drink. With that attitude we go to sleep for healthy mind, healthy body, to be able to serve others, sentient beings. And with that same attitude, then you see, to offer service to cause happiness to others' limits, even though you do get money from others, but the attitude is, instead of thinking I'm going to work for myself, for my happiness, instead of going to work with that attitude, which is not healthy mind. That's not a healthy mind. The nature of that thought, whenever the nature of the self-cherishing thought, whenever one cherishes I, the minute you cherish I, the nature of that thought is not happy mind. It's not a relaxed mind. And as it becomes stronger, there's a tension, tightness. There's tension. Even there's a physical pain, discomfort. You can feel, even physically, you can feel. So anyway, nature of that is not happy mind. If you analyze how that thought, nature of that thought is not happy mind. As I often say, the minute when you change that attitude, think of others, the minute you change that by cherishing I and cherishing others, the minute when you think of others, you see there's rest to one's own heart. There's a rest to your mind. There's a relaxation. You feel free. With the self-centered mind, cherishing I, you don't feel free. You don't feel like prison. You don't feel free. There's no the feeling of free. But the minute when you cherish others, you see, there's a relaxation, there's a rest, there's freedom. You feel you feel the peace immediately there in your heart. It's a happiness. And also there's a smile on your face, when you say, when your attitude is like that, cherishing others, you see, benefit others. So even the face is light, this smile, happy face. With the self-cherishing thought, with the self-centered mind, you see, even the expression of the body, the face is tight and very concerned with the tight, worried face. You see the self-cherishing thought manifesting through, even through the face. You see the uptight mind, you see, anyway, ego manifests through the face. You see, very worried. For example, when you're walking in the street, you see, you look at the people, pale faces. Go to shops or in the street, and you watch the people. You see, and you can see so many people there. Not happy, very concerned, very worried, depressed. You see the expression come through the face like that. And then some, you see, the very good-hearted ones, whose attitude is, cherishing or always thought of benefiting others. They're very, you see, very light face, very, smiling face, or say, very peaceful, happy face, like that. However, so even though you do make money, you do, from doing a job, but the attitude, not thinking that, from the house, when you go to work, when you go, when you leave from the house, when you start to leave from the house for the job, see, instead of, I'm going to work for my happiness. to earn money for myself. Instead of that, you see, I'm going. So you feel first feel the universal responsibility. You see, I'm responsible for all sentient beings. I'm responsible for all sentient beings. Peace and happiness. You see, that freedom from suffering, and then so to offer service to others, I'm going to work. So change the attitude completely. You see, total benefit others. Good heart, the happy mind. The peaceful, happy mind that you. So the minute when you change the mind, the minute you change your attitude into this total benefit others, then you immediately find happiness, peace in your heart. You immediately find satisfaction in the heart. Even though then also when you change your attitude, total benefit others, cherishing others, then many of the problems, many of the emotional problems, many of the problems to do with the ego, self-cherishing thought. You see, many problems that rises from that, from the ego, stops. Immediately it's that stopped. So many problems related to ego, come from ego. Because of ego, then, you see, there's jealous mind, there's all these attachment, so many negative thought rises. You see, so all these so many problems in life suddenly is not there. You see, suddenly not there. You're free. You see, so makes huge differences in the life, difference between sky and earth in your life. There's a big difference in the effect like that, and also see. Stronger the self-cherishing today is ego. There's that minimal worry, fear, all this concern, expectation, all this, just the mind, one's own concept, create all these problems. See, you put yourself in the world of problems. How do I say? You see, create the life instead of peace. Create the life of problems. Like drowned in the mud. Quagmire, like that, mad. So one's own concept, you see, made difficult. One's own mind made difficult. Just mistaken way, wrong way, unskillful way of thinking brought so many problems in life. Just a way of thinking created so many problems in life. So mind is so disturbed, so unhappy, so disturbed. You see, then it disturbs the vehicle of the mind, the wind. And wind gets disturbed, and then when that happens, the four elements within the body become unbalanced. Then because of that, then sickness comes. Not only the mental sickness, depression, so forth, mental problems, but also physical problems. Comes. So they say that a scientific road. You see, check that people whose nature is very impatient, who have very bad temper, those people who have very bad temper, among those people, we scientifically prove that there's much more possibility of heart attack, much more possibility of heart attack. So all this, you see, blood clotting or the blood clotting, clot, huh? Blood clot, huh? Blood clot, what? Blood clot, the blood clot. Blood clot, and anyway, so the statistically, scientifically proved that people who have very bad temper, there's a major number is a heart attack, like that. That's very true. So the way how it happens like that, what I have explained just before, we see how it affects the mind, the self-cherishing thought, the anger. You see, stronger self-cherishing thought, easy to get angry. So that's see, you can see from our own experience. Times when our mind is so selfish and very easy to get angry, those other emotional thoughts, negative emotional thoughts, very easy to rise. If we check, our own life, we can tell when it's less weaker, the times when it's less, when we're by practicing meditation, you see, Lamrim, times when it's less, you see, less anger, those are negative thoughts, and also you see, and as well as unhappiness. So that you see. And one doctor in Delhi, I have an article. But I've lost. I had it but lost. But this article is very interesting. One doctor in Delhi. This was his. From his analysis. So one doctor, he explained that people, who think others bad, people who think others bad, then more that affects to your health. So the doctor said, I don't remember the details, but it's the essence. People who think other people bad, you see, that negative thought affects your health. I think there's what is the heart attack, or I don't know what. Anyways, the essence that it affects to your physical health. It is said that. And so therefore he emphasized to have a positive attitude towards others. So that's Dharma. That's you see, this is the one doctor in Delhi. I think somebody sent me the article. That's extremely good advice, very important advice. And then also it helps to not create a negative karma, to not get angry. Because if you put a negative label on others, then you believe in your label, and then that makes you upset. You see, first your mind put a negative label on others and believe in that, and then that affects you. What label, the negative label that you have put others, and it affects back to your mind. You see, and makes you upset, angry. You see, So you see, you created your mind, created your own projection, and believing it came from outside. It's believing, even though it came from your mind, but believed it's come from outside, came from the person, that it exists, that it exists from its own side. Came from outside, and it exists from its own side. So like that, so that affects to your mind, it causes anger or upsetness, all this. So if you put positive label on others, if you put a positive label, and then you see positive label has only positive effect back to your mind. Your mind put positive label, then there's a positive effect to you. Like that, you see, like say, like say, many of you might have heard that example. There are many examples, there are many different examples we can go. For example, one example that I've often mentioned that this story in Tibet, one teacher had two students, and they I think maybe they went to their home, I'm not sure, came back to monastery, returned back to monastery from very far, and when they arrived in the teacher's house, so the teacher gave a cold tea. So one disciple told this teacher, say, so bad. We came from very far, so exhausted, but didn't give us even warm tea. The other student, thought, oh, the teacher is so kind, because we came from so, and the teacher gave us purposely cold tea. Gave us cold tea. So he looked at the positive way. So you see, he felt that he was so kind. That was cold tea. So actually, so he got a lot of benefit. So he put a positive label, and he got a lot of benefit. See, from that, first of all, it stopped the creating heavy karma, getting angry and criticizing. Not only angry, but also criticizing, you see. And very heavy karma, you see, he didn't have to create it. He's free from that. He's protected from that. And then he felt kindness of his guru. So then he is, so much merit. So much merit. And that, of course, that's part of the meditation practice, the guru devotion to achieve enlightenment. So that brings the disciple to enlightenment. You see, causes to achieve realization is part of enlightenment. Then immediately there's a happiness in the person's heart. There's peace and happiness. So that you see. So, first, for example, the person who praises to you, the person who praises to you, it makes rise pride, ego, pride. You see, now the person who criticizes to you, you see, I said that, that makes you to see your own mistakes, to discover your own mistakes, which you're not aware, and then from that you become the better person. From that you become the better person. You see, a good person. By the other person who criticizes you. It's like mirror, shows you, exposes your mistakes, shows, like mirror, you see, shows your mistakes. Then by discovering that, then you change, you become a better person. You see, kinder, compassionate, more wisdom, you see, like that. However, see, it develops the very precious good quality of the value of human mind. You see, you see. So it benefits your mind. It benefits your mind. And so I say that I said that is same as teaching. That is same as in the listening, teaching, or reading Dharma texts. You see, that which talks about mistakes. That which talks about one's own mistakes. You see, they say right. I say positive, negative. You see, good and bad. That you see from the text, you can see your the bad and good what's my life. You see, mind. So like that. You see. As mentioned, the teaching is a mirror of what's, the life of mind. Learning about one's own life, learning about oneself, and then then you see, then that makes to say, change one's mind, improve, and that's how one can achieve liberation from samsara, full enlightenment. So like that. As Kadamba cases, they mentioned in the thought transformation text, how to transform the sufferings into happiness. For example, when somebody criticizes, how to transform that into happiness. To develop one's mind, path to enlightenment. That if somebody praises, that makes to say to feel makes to feel big pride, it makes to feel rise big pride, and if one is criticized, it destroys one's mistakes. Like that. So, by thinking the benefits of criticizing to you, somebody criticizing, by thinking the benefit of that, then somebody criticizing to you, it becomes it is transformed into happiness instead of bothering and getting upset, angry. Somebody criticizing to you, it becomes that enjoyment, or enjoyment. You feel appreciation to that person because the advantage benefit you get from that, because you get from the criticism. The criticism destroys your ego. The criticism, somebody criticizes, destroys your ego. It breaks your pride, destroys your ego. Like Buddha's teaching, purpose of listening the teaching, purpose of studying Dharma is to destroy the delusions, to destroy the delusion, to destroy the ego, self-cherishing thought. Such emotional mind, the pride, all these things, to destroy the whole entire teaching taught by Buddha is destroy the ego, the pride, all these delusions. So then, therefore, we think the teaching is so precious. Therefore, with benefit, what do we get from the teaching? From Buddha's teaching. So therefore, we think that's so precious. Ceases the defilements. including negative imprint. So then that makes to achieve ultimate happiness, full enlightenment. So liberation from samsara, full enlightenment. So we think the Dharma is so precious. Now, see. We think Dharma is so precious. The teaching is so precious. We think the path is so precious. You see, the path which ceases the defilements, the delusions, so precious. Even though the path itself didn't have, you see, it didn't have thought. To motivation to benefit. But what it does to once will continue ceasing the delusion. So it's so precious. So same. Similar to medicine. Medicine which can heal cancer or anyway, any medicine. That you have something very heavy sicknesses, chronic disease, and there's a medicine that which can heal completely that. So you think this medicine is so precious. But even though the medicine itself didn't have thought benefit to you, even though the medicine itself didn't have any thought, didn't have love, even the medicine didn't have love to you, you see, it's a thought benefit to you. But we regard that as so precious, we cherish that medicine so much. So same here, the criticism. So similar, you see, benefits you. See, destroys the self-cherishing thought, pride. You see, these things, and that's how then able to develop mind, able to realization path enlightenment. So same, the person who criticized, even that person didn't have any thought benefit to you. Even that person didn't have any thought that doesn't thought of love or the benefit to you. You see, exactly same as the path, same as the medicine. You get so much benefit, you see, advantage, There's advantage, this incredible, precious advantage, benefit from that person, so that that person become unbelievable, precious, so that. Without destroying the delusion, we cannot be free from samsara. Besides unable to achieve enlightenment, we cannot be free from samsara. So the person whom one call the enemy, who is angry to you, so that person is you. What advantage you get from that person? What advantage you get from his criticism? He will hard criticism to you. It is incredible, precious. This is incredible benefit you get that you can achieve. From that you can achieve liberation from samsara, full enlightenment. So you get all the realizations. So this person is helping you to destroy the obstacles, the delusion, obstacles which are delusions. You see. For you to achieve liberation and enlightenment. So that's what this person's doing, say, helping to you, or the advantage you would get. So here, so what I was saying before. So knowing this, knowing this great advantage what you're receiving, from the person, from the criticism, and here the person becomes so precious. Here the person becomes most precious one in your life. Most precious one in your life, that person becomes. And what the person offers to is a great gift. It's a very precious gift. It's a very precious gift. Price is a priceless gift. What the person is, the advantage what you receive from that person. What the person is giving is a priceless gift. And that even billions of dollars, even the skies of billions of dollars, even you offer to repay the kindness, not enough. There's nothing. Then what this this person helping you to pacify, to cease mistakes of your mind. You see, mistakes also mental continue. Also mind as to cease. So, so you see, even one give billions of dollars of sky filled with billions of dollars, even give offer to that person to thank is nothing. No comparison to what advantage would you get from that person. See, so here it become you see incredible enjoyment. When we look at this way, when we recognize this way, then it become incredible enjoyment. The receiving criticism, happiness, and it is something. It become great need. The criticism is need in the life. You need the criticism. You see, for your realization, to be able to transform one's mind, for your realization, it become need. The criticism become great need. You see, so become like that. Before it was when you were looking at negative. Let's see what when you are looking at it the wrong way, it's something to abandon. But now here, when you look at it differently, this way, positive way, it becomes great need in the life. I forgot now where I started. Anyway, so living the life with this attitude, 24 hours, feeling universal responsibility and thought to benefit others. You see, so this way, 24 hours our activity, 24 hours our life, or say our activity become Dharma, and it become pure Dharma because unstained by self-cherishing thought. I see, the purest, the attitude of life is pure attitude of life, attitude of activities that we do in daily life you see, it's the purest. So they become the best Dharma, and that which that which has the greatest achievement, the greatest benefit, goal, fully, cessation of all the mistakes of mind, completion of all the realizations, the full enlightenment. That's the ultimate result, benefit what we get. From that. So everything, 24 hours, whatever we do, with that attitude, everything becomes a cause of happiness, good karma. Everything becomes a cause of happiness. So in regards we're achieving happiness in the life. There's happiness, inner peace and happiness, one achieved from Guru devotion. With Guru devotion, say that not only the inner peace and happiness, moment to moment, everyday life, but happiness up to enlightenment. The peerless happiness, full enlightenment. Then real peace and happiness by practicing Lamrim, the mind being into renunciation, the being content, being content, mind being content. Stop following desire, letting go desire, letting go desire, clinging to this life, letting go desire, clinging to this life, letting go that, free, making yourself independent from the desire, making yourself independent, instead overpowered yourself under the control of desire, overpowered by desire or dictated by desire. Overpowered by desire or dictated by desire. You are dictated by desire or overpowered by desire, controlled by desire. And so that you are self being independent, free from the negative emotion, thought, desire. So being content, let go that, being content, being free yourself. So there's real peace and happiness, which is satisfaction. By practicing Lamrim, renunciation or freeing oneself from desire. Then there's happiness, real peace and happiness. One achieve, by practicing bodhicitta with a good heart, real peace and happiness. Then there's then there's, you see, peace and happiness one achieves by meditating on emptiness. by meditating, say, practice mindfulness. I action object, the phenomena. Practice mindfulness, that they are merely imputed by the mind. The whole thing. Not only the eye is merely imputed by mind, even the base of the eye aggregates is merely imputed by mind. Not only that, starting from the aggregates, is the general aggregates, then aggregates the body, down to the all the different parts of the body, and then down to the atoms, and down to the including the particles of the atoms. Looking at everything merely imputed by the mind. Looking at everything merely imputed by the mind. The whole thing. Starting from the eye, down to atoms, even the particles of the atoms, looking at everything merely imputed by the mind. And then, starting from the eye, the aggregates, and then conscious, but mind, very short, the other body and mind. So mind, all the splits, all the every minute, the every minute mind, every second mind, continue the mind, every split seconds of the continue the mind. So, including everything, merely imputed by the mind, to practice the mindfulness that you see, you see, starting from the eye, the whole thing, how they exist, being merely imputed by the mind. So, practice the mindfulness and that. So, you see, same, they're also object. See, object anger, object attachment, whatever. The inner. So, so same. There also how everything exists in my name, merely imputed by mind. So when you do that mindfulness meditation, in the subtle dependent arising of the Prasangika school view, Madhyamika Prasangika school view, then the object, when you do that, while you practice mindfulness, it doesn't overpower your mind. It doesn't overpower your mind. You see, your mind overpower the object. Overpower the object. The object cannot, overpower your mind. You see, so, for an example that the object of anger or attachment or indifferent object. Just here the object what we see here around. You see, the tent, this ceiling, and whatever the carpet, whatever object. You see, now all these things, even though the way they exist is being merely imputed by the mind, but to our hallucinated mind, all these appear not merely labeled by mind, it appears totally opposite than reality. So the minute, so if you believe, so see, so this is how things appear to us, even though they are merely labeled by mind. But even though they are merely labeled by mind, as soon as it's merely labeled by mind, it doesn't appear back to us. So as soon as it's merely labeled by mind, when it appears back to us, it doesn't appear to us merely labeled by mind. It doesn't appear to us merely labeled by mind. It appears to us not merely labeled by mind. And the minute when we believe it's true, the object overpowers. The object becomes very powerful. You see, it overpowers. It kind of controls the mind. But the minute when you think this is a hallucination. But the minute when you think this is a hallucination, all this is a hallucination. You see, these things, all these things are appearing. This tent in the floor, the carpet, or whatever, things that you see around people. The minute when you think that the way it's appearing to not mere level of mind, and you see, this is a hallucination. The minute when you think this is hallucination, that which is a hallucination. That which is hallucination. So then you see, when you do that, when you do that, the minute when you do that, when you're able to look at it, hallucination, that which is hallucination, then your mind controlled the object. It doesn't overpower it. Your mind controlled the object. You see, your mind becomes more powerful than the object. Similar object attachment. You see, same, the object, while they're being attached to that, while the attachment rising to the object, it becomes so powerful, it overwhelms you. Similarly, while the anger is rising, the object of anger, becomes so powerful, you see, so that now, the minute when you think that is that, because the basis is object of ignorance, which is hallucination. So, the minute when you think that, your mind control. See, control that. See, it cannot affect you. Then, by thinking antidote of attachment and anger, then when the anger stops, when the attachment stops, when there's no anger and no attachment, so again, you see, your mind control the object. It doesn't overpower, object, see like that. So anyway, so here, so what we're saying is, from within one's mind, how to achieve happiness from within one's mind. So with T pens apart, root version like this. Then the other one is then the other one. Two things I want to mention. Or three things. Okay. The other thing is, in everyday life, to practice the joyfulness. The other way to achieve happiness in life, This is not worldly pleasure. This happiness, what I'm talking is not worldly pleasure. This is real peace and happiness, not worldly pleasure. So everyday life, everyday life treats happiness, the one that is joyfulness. So not only as a rejoicing is not only when you collect merit or when others collect merit, practice Dharma, not only that, but rejoicing, anything that would, anything in the life, good thing happening to others. Always practice the mind. Somebody is good. You see somebody has a very beautiful apartment, rejoice. You see somebody has a beautiful car. What is this? Mercedes. Somebody has a very beautiful car. This is a long one. There's a very long car. Anyway, what? Limousine. So, actually, I saw a few times the limousine, but I've never been inside. Only the recent in Florida, when I was there, when I was going to university to have talk, the director, anyway, a little bit strange. The director of the center rented a limousine to from the house to go to the university. So everybody, I think the idea is to travel everybody together, like sitting in the room, you see. So I think that might be the idea. So like sitting in the room, you see. But there you can. I have never seen before. You can sit there, right? So I just made a joke to him. It needs a shower place. I made a joke. There's also a place to drink, right? Thing. Glasses. You can have coffee or so you have. So I just made a joke. There's in the shower. It's inside. Anyway. So to train the mind, we say whatever good things others have, is you see, somebody who want a child so much, as it's a good child, you see, is seeking happiness, so the person achieved that. Or how good it is. So you rejoice. Somebody found a friend, somebody who just looking for happiness, friend, and is found. You rejoice. So that you see, whatever somebody found a job or somebody had success in business, made a lot of money. So instead of using that to feel jealousness, that one only you are creating the karma, and if you feel jealousness, then you are creating obstacle to your success. So jealousness is whenever you feel jealousness, you see others having practicing Dharma, doing retreat, or having very success in business, whatever is jealousness. Others having wealth. So jealousness is an obstacle for your success. So therefore, if you rejoice, and that you are creating the cause of yours, you are creating the cause of success. Success in this life and future life. So including enlightenment. So you see, so always because jealousness, you see, makes man unhappy. You see, the immediate effect, unhappiness. So if you rejoice, immediate effect, peace and happiness in your heart. So that's one thing. That is one practice everyday life. You see, more you are able to do this, you have more peace and happiness in life, and less upset, depression, all that thing. Then the other one to achieve happiness. The other one is forgiveness. Forgiveness. Practicing forgiveness. That's very, very important. Very, very, very important. It's also in Dharma. It's also Lamrim mentioned. It's forgiveness. So in the Bodhisattva vow, I think that if you don't, the person should apologize. If you don't accept, then you should breaking vow. So like that. So that is the other very, very important. And these things doesn't depend on believing reincarnation, karma. These things say, if you want happiness, you do this. If you don't, in the question of if you want happiness, you want to have a happy life, you do it. If you do it, you get it. If you do it, it makes you happy. It stops all your anger, jealous mind, also all your grudge, not the grudge, not the car grudge, not the car grudge, the grudge in your heart. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know how to spell the differences. Grudge, car grudge. Anyway, so anyway, so for example, somebody abuse you, you give forgiveness to that person. You see, practice kindness, generous, compassion, forgiveness, and then the minute when you forgiveness, you see, it's gone. That years of pain is gone. The minute you accept, the minute you give forgiveness, so like that. And that one is very, very important one. That's one mother, whose daughter was kidnapped and killed in America. I saw in TV. And kidnapped. So there could have happened many things. And then finally their daughter was killed. But the mother, gave forgiveness to the person who kidnapped her daughter and killed. Can you imagine? That's, I think, has to be great Bodhisattva. Person who kidnapped your daughter and then finally killed. So she gave, in TV, so that she talked about, she gave forgiveness to the person, like that. It was unbelievable. Not particular. I don't think she's particular who met Buddha Dharma and practiced Lamrim and practiced Tantra. I don't think she's didn't seem like that anyway. But she's able to give forgiveness. Practice patience. Can you imagine? That's incredible. That's incredible. That so. And then one person, the snipers, the person who killed many people one time, the recent time, So this one person, he was shot 4 times. And then there was CN interviewed that person. CN interviewed that person, and the question is, what do you want to kill that sniper? His punishing, or I think maybe execution. And what he said, even though he was shot 4 times, he said normally he attacks non-violence. So he doesn't. He said he wouldn't recommend. He wouldn't recommend execution. Execution? he would recommend execution. That person. He said he normally takes side of non-violence. This is what he answered. That is unbelievable. That's incredible. Even though he was shot, I think 3 or 4 times. So that that's. So as many then as all of you, as many of you have heard Bodhicitta so many times and have read something which can be managed. What's the benefit there to be, to be unhappy? So you do something which can manage, something that can be changed, we can manage, do it. And that something which cannot manage, also what's the use to be unhappy? So I think so many of our problems in our life, especially in the relationship problems, that you say relationship problems, many things. For example, sicknesses that cannot be cured. How you mean? So this Shantideva's quotation, this one. So using this as applying this in all the applying this in this kind in applying this in the situations that you cannot manage, can't change now. So so this immediately stops the unhappiness, and then you accept it. So then, when you accept this, basically, then especially the second one is to accept. Since you can't, this is not something you can't change, so you accept it. So then unhappiness stopped. There's another, where then there's happiness in life. So like that. So this, so these, I think that these are, meditation practice, Dharma practice, that these are the practical, very important, I think advice of Buddha, the teachings of Buddha, I think like that. So they not only who has faith in Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, but even non-believers, much of this is not even they can easily practice. Maybe not exactly bodhicitta, achieving enlightenment, all this, but total benefit others. So, you say like that. So, okay. So that's it. 나다게 지내사베 겨와디 난도와동라 감변의 제벌의 지존로상 타와 덴베 닝보린도 사지쇼 장주승도 좀 보지 마죠. 겨와냐면 공내 공도 대화쇼 가르라베 그게 생각이 편한데와 말을 주면 제래서 어떤 데까지 샤베 시대 봐도 된저지 리조티라 메스크라트메 데이터 메스크라트 by others that was empty from a society where I who is empty from a society, each Guru Shachamani Buddha's enlightenment was empty from inside, and little the sentimentals were empty from the outside. and later all the symptoms were empty from their own side. To that enlightenment, which is also empty from the side, by myself alone, was also empty from the side.